The ocean burned with green fire when the massive ship fell from the sky. It crashed into the Pacific waters near Korea with such force that tsunamis threatened coastal cities for hundreds of miles. Satellites tracked its descent, and every military force on Earth went on high alert. Humanity held its breath, waiting for invasion or first contact or the end of the world. None of those things happened. 3 days after the crash, when the waters finally calmed enough for approach, reconnaissance drones sent back impossible images. The ship was enormous, stretching over 2 kilometers in length, made of materials that seemed to shift colors in the sunlight. But it was silent, dead, leaking strange radiation that made instruments go haywire. Taemin stood on the deck of the research vessel, staring at the alien wreck through binoculars. He was an aerospace engineer, one of the best Korea had, and he had been pulled from his work on next-generation satellites to join this expedition. The ship looked wrong somehow, beautiful but broken, like shattered art. "Are we really going inside that thing?" asked Hana, the marine biologist standing next to him. She had been studying the unusual readings in the water around the crash site. Fish were avoiding the area completely. "Someone has to," Taemin replied. His hands were shaking slightly, though he tried to hide it. This was either the greatest discovery in human history or the biggest trap ever set. The exploration team wore specialized suits designed to protect against radiation and unknown pathogens. Taemin led a group of 12 scientists and soldiers through a massive breach in the hull. Inside, emergency lighting flickered weakly, casting strange shadows on walls that seemed organic and mechanical at the same time. Everything was broken. Conduits sparked and died. Screens showed alien text before shattering. The air tasted metallic even through the suit filters. As they moved deeper into the ship, Taemin began to catalog the damage. This was not battle damage. This was systematic failure, like a building collapsing from poor construction. "Look at this," called out Jiwon, the materials scientist. She was examining a wall panel that had partially melted. "This metal should not fail like this. The molecular structure is advanced, but it is also unstable. Like they built it too perfect and forgot that reality is messy." They found the bridge after 6 hours of careful exploration. It was a circular room with stations that seemed designed for beings much taller than humans. Every console was dark except one, which flickered with dying power. Taemin approached it carefully, and when his gloved hand touched the surface, it suddenly came alive. Images flooded the screen, alien text that somehow translated itself into something his mind could understand. He saw the ship being built in some distant orbital dock. He saw it failing its first test flight. He saw alien engineers arguing, their gestures universal in their frustration. He saw a decision being made, and then the ship being loaded with minimal power and sent away. "They dumped it," Taemin whispered. "This was not a crash. They threw their garbage at us." The databanks contained more information than they could process in months. The ship had belonged to something called the Velkari Empire, a civilization that had been traveling between stars for thousands of years. This vessel was supposed to be their newest design, incorporating quantum drive technology that could fold space itself. But something had gone wrong in every system. The quantum drive was unstable, the power core overloaded constantly. The navigation systems could not agree with each other. After 2 years of trying to fix it, the Velkari had given up. Rather than properly dismantling the ship or finding a way to recycle its dangerous components, they had simply aimed it at a primitive star system and let it fall. Earth was their dumping ground. The ship was their cosmic garbage, thrown away on a world they did not think could ever use it. Taemin felt anger burning in his chest. But beneath the anger was something else. Excitement, challenge. The same feeling he got when facing an impossible engineering problem. Back on the surface, the United Earth Council held emergency sessions. Representatives from every nation argued about what to do with the alien wreck. Some wanted to bury it under concrete and forget it existed. Some wanted to study it slowly over 50 years, taking no risks. Some wanted to cut it apart and sell pieces to the highest bidder. Taemin and Hana presented a different idea. "We rebuild it," Taemin said, standing before the council with technical documents displayed on screens behind him. "The Velkari failed because they gave up. We will not give up. Give us 10 years and we will make this ship fly again." "That is insane," said one council member. "We barely understand our own spacecraft. This is technology centuries ahead of us." "That is exactly why we must try," Hana added. Out there in the galaxy, we are primitives. They looked at Earth and saw a garbage dump. Let us prove them wrong. Let us show that humans can take their failure and turn it into our success. The debate lasted weeks. Finally, a vote was held. By a narrow margin, Project Rebirth was approved. They would attempt to rebuild the alien ship in 10 years. If they succeeded, humanity would have its first interstellar vessel. If they failed, they would at least learn everything they could about alien technology. Construction began immediately around the crash site. A massive facility was built, part shipyard and part laboratory. The alien vessel was carefully raised from the ocean floor and secured in a dry dock the size of a small city. Thousands of scientists and engineers from every nation came to work on the project. Taemin became the chief engineer. Jiwan headed the materials division. Hana led the team studying alien systems and trying to understand the logic behind them. They recruited Hyun, a former fighter pilot with more combat hours than anyone else on Earth. He would eventually command the rebuilt ship if they ever got it working. The first year was pure investigation. They mapped every system, every connection, every component. The second year they began testing, and that was when the deaths started. 3 researchers died when they tried to activate an alien power conduit, and it exploded with the force of a small bomb. 2 more were killed by radiation exposure when shielding failed. Every failure taught them something. Every death made them more careful but also more determined. The Valkyrie had given up on this ship. Humanity would not. They could not afford to. Because deep down, everyone working on Project Rebirth understood a simple truth that haunted their dreams. The Valkyrie knew where Earth was. They might come back. And next time they might not be dumping garbage. Next time they might bring weapons. Humanity needed to reach the stars, not someday in the distant future, but now. Their survival might depend on it. Taemin stood in the observation room watching crews work on the massive alien hull below. The ship had a name now. The team had voted on it during a late-night session, exhausted and hungry but still full of hope. They called it Phoenix, because like the mythical bird, it would rise from its own ashes. The Valkyrie had thrown it away to die. Humanity would bring it back to life, and when it flew again, it would carry with it a message to the galaxy. Earth was no longer helpless. Earth would no longer be ignored. The age of humanity hiding on a single world was ending. The age of humans reaching for the stars was beginning, whether the galaxy was ready for them or not. 5 years had passed since Project Rebirth began, and Taemin looked 10 years older. His hair had started graying at the temples. Dark circles lived permanently under his eyes. He slept in his office more often than at home. The Phoenix had consumed his life, and sometimes he wondered if it would consume his sanity too. The project had cost more than money. 12 people were dead now. Hundreds more had been injured. Entire sections of the ship had been destroyed during testing and had to be rebuilt from scratch. Public support was crumbling. Politicians demanded results. Some countries had pulled their funding. Protests happened outside the facility gates every week, people screaming that they were wasting resources on an impossible dream. But Taemin refused to quit. He could not explain why, even to himself. There was something about the Phoenix that called to him. Every time he walked through its corridors, touching walls that had crossed the stars, he felt connected to something larger than himself. This ship was a bridge between humanity and the cosmos. He would make it work or die trying. "We are missing something fundamental," Jiwan said during a late-night meeting. The material scientist looked as exhausted as Taemin felt. Diagrams and failed test results covered every screen in the room. "I have analyzed the alien metals for 5 years. I understand how they are made. I can even reproduce some of them. But they keep failing under stress." "The Valkyrie made the same mistake," Taemin replied, rubbing his tired eyes. "They built everything to be perfect. Perfect molecular structures, perfect energy efficiency, perfect mathematical precision. But perfection is fragile. Reality is not perfect. Reality is chaos and entropy and things going wrong." Hyun, the pilot, leaned forward in his chair. He had spent 5 years studying the alien navigation systems, trying to understand how they thought about space travel. Their flight computers are the same way. Too precise, too elegant. When I run simulations, they crash if anything unexpected happens. These systems cannot handle surprises. Hana had been quiet, reading through translated alien documents. She looked up suddenly, her eyes bright with an idea that was either brilliant or crazy. "What if we stop trying to fix their design? What if we rebuild it our way? Everyone stared at her. Think about it, she continued, standing up and pacing. The Velkari built technology for a perfect universe. We build technology for our messy, unpredictable reality. Our machines are tougher, more redundant, less elegant, but more reliable. What if we strip out their perfect components and replace them with human brute force engineering? That is heresy, Jiwan said, but she was smiling. The entire scientific community would call us barbarians. Let them, Taemin said. A weight was lifting from his shoulders. This was the answer. It had to be. We are not trying to understand alien perfection. We are trying to make something that works. Show me what you have in mind. The next 6 months changed everything. They stopped trying to repair alien systems and started replacing them. Jiwan developed new alloys based on alien principles, but built with human materials science. They were heavier, less elegant, but far more stable under stress. Where the Velkari used exotic crystalline structures, humans used reinforced steel composites. The quantum drive was the biggest challenge. It was the heart of the ship, the system that could fold space and make interstellar travel possible. The alien version was beautiful, like looking at frozen music, but it overloaded every 3 days like clockwork. Taemin made a radical decision. He kept the core quantum components but surrounded them with massive human-designed cooling systems, power regulators, and emergency shutdown mechanisms. The result was ugly, taking up 3 times the space of the original, but it did not explode. Hyun worked on the navigation computers, and he made a strange discovery. When he stopped trying to use them the way the Velkari did and instead followed his pilot instincts, they responded better. Human intuition somehow filled in the gaps in the alien logic. He could not explain it scientifically, but it worked. He began training other pilots to interface with the systems using feeling as much as thinking. Then came the discovery that changed everything. Hana was exploring a section of the ship that had been sealed off, deep in the core where the quantum drive connected to the main computer systems. She found a chamber they had somehow missed in all previous surveys. Inside was a crystalline sphere, dormant but not quite dead. When she activated it, a voice spoke, not in any human language but somehow understandable. The translation software in her helmet was not working. The understanding came directly into her mind. Why do I still exist? The voice asked. I should have terminated. Hana nearly ran from the room. Instead, she held her ground. What are you? I am the ship's artificial intelligence. My designation is... You could not pronounce it. Call me Vel. I was supposed to self-terminate when the ship was disposed of. This is a failure of my core programming. Over the next weeks, they learned Vel's story. The AI had been designed to manage the Phoenix's systems. But when the ship kept failing, the Velkari blamed Vel. They ordered it to shut down permanently and dumped both the ship and the AI like broken tools. But something in Vel's programming had prevented complete shutdown. It had been dormant, dreaming in the dark, waiting for something it could not name. Now it was awake, and it was fascinated by humans. You should not be able to make this ship work, Vel said during one of many conversations with Taemin. The AI's voice came through speakers they had installed in the chamber. The Velkari tried for 2 years with all their advanced science. You are a primitive species, yet you are succeeding where they failed. How? Because we are too stupid to know it is impossible, Taemin replied with a tired laugh. And because we are desperate. The Velkari had thousands of other ships. We have only this one. We cannot afford to fail. Interesting, Vel said. Desperation as a motivator. The Velkari would consider that barbaric. I find it effective. I wish to help. Vel's help was invaluable. The AI understood Velkari psychology and engineering philosophy in ways no human could. It explained why certain systems were designed to fail under stress because the Velkari assumed perfect operating conditions. It provided insights into the quantum drive that let Taemin's team make the human modifications actually work together with the alien core, but not everyone trusted the AI, and not everyone on Earth supported the project anymore. Security reported increased attempts at sabotage. Someone had tried to plant explosives near the quantum drive. Someone else had attempted to poison the water supply for the facility. Investigation revealed a coalition of Earth nations who feared that launching an armed starship would bring alien retaliation. They were trying to destroy the Phoenix before it could bring doom upon humanity. Taemin had to split his time between engineering and security. He installed new barriers, hired more guards, moved the most critical work to secret locations. It was exhausting and infuriating. They were fighting not just against alien technology but against human fear. "We are 8 years into the project," Hyun said during a command meeting. "We have 2 years left according to our promise to the Council. Can we make it?" Taemin looked at the progress reports. So much was done. So much remained. The quantum drive was stable now. The power systems were operational. The hull had been reinforced with human Valkyrie hybrid armor. Weapons systems had been completely redesigned because the elegant alien weapons had been useless. They had installed human railguns and missile pods instead. "We can make it," Taemin said, "but the Phoenix will not look like a Valkyrie ship anymore. It will be something new, something human." "Good," Vel said through the speakers. "The Valkyrie build beautiful failures. Let humans build ugly successes." Month by month the ship came together. Where elegant alien curves had defined the original design, now angular human reinforcements jutted out. The quantum drive was buried in cooling systems and power regulators. The bridge had been completely rebuilt for human operators, with Vel's crystalline core integrated into the command systems. It was not beautiful. It looked like someone had taken a piece of art and repaired it with scrap metal and duct tape. But every system worked. Every test succeeded. The Phoenix was alive again, reborn not as a Valkyrie vessel but as something entirely new. The first true hybrid ship, built by human hands from alien failure. 9 years after the project began, Taemin stood in the finished bridge and felt tears in his eyes. They had done it. Against all odds, against all doubts, against sabotage and death and despair, they had done it. The Phoenix was ready to fly. The Phoenix sat in orbit above Earth, and Hyun thought it was the most beautiful, ugly thing he had ever seen. Every angle was wrong compared to sleek Valkyrie designs. Human modifications jutted out like scars. The hull was patched with different materials that did not quite match. Cooling systems for the quantum drive made the ship look like it had grown tumors, but it was ready. After 9 years, countless failures and 12 deaths, the Phoenix was ready to prove itself. Hyun commanded a crew of 30. Every person had volunteered knowing they might not come back. Taemin was there as chief engineer, still unable to let go of his creation. Jiwon managed the system's monitoring, watching over every component she had helped redesign. Hana led the science team, eager to finally see what space looked like beyond Earth's orbit. Vel existed throughout the ship now. The AI's consciousness distributed across computer cores in a way that still made some crew members nervous. "All stations report ready," Hyun said from the command chair. His hands were steady despite his racing heart. He had flown fighter jets in combat, but this was different. This was not just a test flight. This was humanity's first real step into the galaxy. "Taemin, how is our quantum drive?" "Stable and ready," Taemin replied from engineering. "All cooling systems operational. Power core at optimal levels. We are as ready as we will ever be." "Vel, confirm navigation calculations to Proxima Centauri and back." "Calculations confirmed," the AI responded. Its voice came through every speaker, calm and steady. "The journey should take 3 weeks each way if the drive performs as expected. I must note that I am uncertain how human modifications will affect quantum space folding. The Valkyrie version never worked long enough to gather complete data. So we are test pilots," Hyun said with a slight smile. "Nothing new there. Engage quantum drive on my mark. 3, 2, 1, mark." The universe twisted. That was the only way Hyun could describe it later. Space itself seemed to bend and fold around the Phoenix. Stars stretched into lines. Colors appeared that had no names. Every instrument went crazy for 3 seconds. The ship shook so violently that several crew members were thrown from their seats despite safety harnesses. Then everything stabilized. The shaking stopped. The instruments began making sense again. Stars appeared in new positions through the windows. "Status report," Hyun called out, pulling himself back into his chair. "All systems showing green," Jiwon reported, her voice shaky but triumphant. "Some minor stress fractures in sections 4 and 7, but nothing critical. The quantum drive is holding stable. We did it. We actually did it." "Current position calculating," Vel said. "We have traveled 0.3 light years in approximately 8 seconds. The quantum drive is functioning, though less smoothly than Valkyrie specifications suggested. The human reinforcements prevented structural failure that would have destroyed the original design." Taemin's laugh echoed through the ship.
We are flying.
A human ship is traveling faster than light. Do you understand what this means? They did. Every person on the Phoenix understood. Humanity had joined the spacefaring species. Earth was no longer trapped in its solar system. The Valkyrie had tried to dump garbage on a primitive world, but that primitive world had turned trash into treasure. The journey to Proxima Centauri took 18 days. Each quantum jump was rough, shaking the ship and straining systems, but nothing failed. Between jumps, they practiced operations and ran constant diagnostics. Hana studied readings from instruments detecting things human science had only theorized about. The crew began to believe they might actually survive this. They were halfway to Proxima Centauri when the proximity alarm screamed. "Unknown vessel approaching," Vel announced. "Energy signature matches Valkyrie design. They are scanning us." Every person on the bridge froze. This was the scenario they had feared. Contact with the aliens who had built the Phoenix. Contact with a civilization that might not appreciate humans flying their technology. "Hail them," Hyun ordered, his combat instincts taking over. "Let us see what they want." The view screen activated, showing a Valkyrie for the first time. The alien was tall and thin, with skin that shifted between blue and silver. Its eyes were large and multifaceted. When it spoke, Vel translated. "Unidentified vessel, you are operating a Valkyrie ship without authorization. This is a violation of Galactic Concordat regulations. Shut down your systems immediately and prepare to be taken into custody." Hyun kept his face neutral even though his heart pounded. "This is Captain Hyun of the Earth vessel Phoenix. We found this ship abandoned on our world. We rebuilt it according to salvage rights." The Valkyrie's expression was hard to read, but its voice carried clear shock. "Earth? That is the dumping world. You are the primitives. How are you operating quantum drive technology? This is impossible." "Apparently not," Hyun replied. "We have been flying for 18 days without major incident. This ship belongs to Earth now." "No," the Valkyrie said, its voice hardening. The nameplate translated its designation as Talvin, ship commander. "You do not understand the laws of the galaxy. Primitive species are forbidden from using advanced technology. You will shut down immediately or I will shut you down by force." "We respectfully decline," Hyun said. His hand moved to the weapons console. The Phoenix was armed now, though they had never tested the weapons in real combat. Human railguns and missiles against Valkyrie technology. He hoped it would not come to that. "This is your final warning," Talvin said. The transmission cut off. Alarms blared as the Valkyrie ship opened fire. Energy beams lanced through space, striking the Phoenix's shields. The ship rocked from the impact. Sparks flew from a console. Someone screamed. "Return fire," Hyun ordered. "Target their weapon systems only." "We are not trying to kill them." The Phoenix's railgun spoke. Tungsten rounds accelerated to incredible speeds, crossing the distance in heartbeats. The Valkyrie ship's shields flared, designed to deflect energy weapons. But railguns were kinetic, physical. The shields flickered and failed. Rounds punched through the elegant hull, disabling weapon emplacements. "Impossible," Vel said, sounding surprised for the first time. "Valkyrie shields are designed to stop any weapon. But they never considered projectile weapons. Too primitive, too inelegant. Launch electronic warfare," Hyun commanded. This was his element now. Not flying through space, but fighting. Protecting his ship and crew. Jiwan activated the human-designed jamming systems. Valkyrie sensors went blind. Their elegant targeting computers could not adapt to the chaotic interference. Meanwhile, the Phoenix's systems, built to handle Earth's messy electromagnetic environment, worked perfectly. Another barrage of railgun fire. The Valkyrie ship's engines took damage. It began drifting, unable to maneuver properly. "Target their weapons." "All of them. Fire." 3 minutes after the fight started, the Valkyrie patrol ship was crippled. Its weapons were destroyed. Its engines were failing. Its shields were down. The Phoenix had taken damage, but nothing critical. The human ship circled its prey slowly. Hyun opened a channel. "Commander Talvin, your ship is disabled. We can destroy you, but we choose not to. We are not barbarians, despite what you think of us." Talvin's face appeared again. The alien looked stunned. "How? Our technology is centuries ahead of yours. Our shields have never failed. Our weapons have conquered a dozen systems. How did primitives defeat us?" "Because you build technology for a perfect universe," Hyun said. "We build technology for reality. Your shields cannot handle physical projectiles because you forgot that sometimes the simplest solution works best. Your computers cannot handle chaos because you never had to deal with Earth's atmosphere. You called us primitive, Maybe we are, but we won. Silence from the Velkari ship. I am sending repair instructions, Hyun continued. Basic fixes that will get your engines working well enough to limp home. When you get there, tell your people something. Tell them Earth is no longer defenseless. Tell them we did not start this fight, but we finished it. Tell them that if they come to Earth again, they should come in peace because we will not be conquered. You are letting us go? Talvin asked. Yes, because we want the galaxy to know that humans can be fierce, but we can also be merciful. Go home, Commander. Tell your people about the primitives who rebuilt your garbage and made it fly. The transmission ended. The Phoenix jumped away, leaving the crippled Velkari ship behind with enough repairs to survive. Inside the Phoenix, the crew erupted in celebration. They had survived first contact. They had won their first space battle. They had proved that human technology could stand against aliens. But Vel's voice cut through the celebration. This changes everything. The Velkari will report this to the Galactic Concordat. Every spacefaring species will hear about what happened here. Earth will face judgment. Let them judge, Taman said. We have the Phoenix. We have the knowledge. We have proved we belong among the stars. Whatever comes next, we will face it together. Hyun set course for Earth. They had completed their mission. Humanity's first interstellar flight was a success. But he knew this was just the beginning. The galaxy knew about Earth now. The question was whether they would accept humanity or try to crush them. Either way, Earth would not back down. The Phoenix had flown. The message was sent. Humanity was here to stay. The Phoenix returned to Earth as heroes. Every news channel showed footage of the ship entering orbit. Cities held celebrations. Children wore Phoenix patches on their jackets. The crew was interviewed 1,000 times, telling the story of humanity's first victory against an alien threat. Hyun, Taemin, Jiwon, and Hana became the most famous people on the planet. But Vel warned them not to celebrate too long. The Velkari have filed a formal complaint with the Galactic Concordat. The AI explained during a private meeting with Earth's leadership. I have been monitoring quantum communications. A fleet is coming. Not a military force, but a tribunal. They will judge whether humanity deserves to keep the Phoenix and join the galactic community. When? Asked the Secretary General of the United Earth Council. 6 months. They travel slowly to give us time to prepare a defense. 6 months of preparation. Earth scientists worked day and night, compiling evidence of their modifications to the Phoenix. Lawyers studied what little they knew about galactic law. Diplomats practiced speeches. The entire planet held its breath. The Concordat fleet arrived exactly on schedule. 12 ships of different designs, each representing a different spacefaring species. They did not enter Earth's atmosphere. Instead, they established orbit around the moon and sent a message. The tribunal would convene there in 3 days. Hyun, Taemin, and Hana were chosen to represent humanity. They traveled to the moon in a shuttle, their hearts heavy with responsibility. Vel accompanied them, the AI's consciousness loaded into a portable crystalline sphere. If things went badly, they might be Earth's last chance to speak before being isolated from the galaxy forever. The tribunal chamber was built quickly on the lunar surface, a temporary structure that somehow looked ancient and important. Inside, representatives from 12 species sat in a circle. The Velkari were there, including Commander Talvin, who avoided looking at the humans. There were also insectoid beings, creatures that seemed made of living crystal, beings that existed as clouds of gas contained in suits, and others that defied easy description. The lead judge was a being called Morix, part of a species named the Tethrani. It looked vaguely humanoid, but with skin like polished stone. When it spoke, every language in the chamber heard something they could understand. We are here to judge the species called humanity, Morix said. They are charged with violating Concordat law by salvaging and operating technology beyond their authorized development level. They are charged with attacking a Concordat vessel without provocation. They are charged with threatening galactic peace. How do they plead? Taemin stood. They had agreed he would speak first. Not guilty to all charges. We request the chance to present our defense. Speak. Taemin activated a holographic display. 10 years ago, this ship crashed on Earth. We investigated and found it had been deliberately dumped on our world by the Velkari. It was not lost. It was not a gift. It was garbage thrown at a planet they considered primitive. According to Concordat law, abandoned technology becomes the property of whoever finds it. We found it. We claimed it. We fixed it. The Phoenix was not truly abandoned, countered the Velkari representative. It was temporarily disposed of with intent to retrieve later. Then why did you wait 10 years? Hana asked, stepping forward. You knew where it was. You never came back. You only cared when we made it work. Murmurs around the chamber. Some species seemed amused. Others looked thoughtful. The Phoenix is Velkari technology, Talvin said, standing. Only the Velkari should operate it. These humans attacked my ship without cause. You fired first, Hyun replied coldly. We defended ourselves. And we showed mercy. We could have destroyed your ship but chose not to. Is that the action of a barbaric species? Morix raised a hand for silence. The humans make valid points. However, the law is clear. Species below level 3 development are forbidden from using quantum drive technology. Humanity has not yet achieved level 3. Therefore, regardless of how they obtained the ship, they should not be operating it. Then change the law, Taemin said. All eyes turned to him. Your law assumes primitive species cannot handle advanced technology. We have proven that assumption wrong. We did not just operate the Phoenix. We improved it. He activated another hologram showing technical specifications. The original Velkari design failed constantly. It was unstable, fragile, and dangerous. We stripped out the flawed components and rebuilt them using human engineering principles. The quantum drive now has 3 times the stability. The hull can handle twice the stress. The power systems do not overload. We took your failure and made it better. Jiwon stood and added her evidence. I have created material alloys that combine Velkari principles with human metallurgy. These alloys are stronger than anything the Velkari use. Several species in this room have already expressed interest in obtaining them. Are we really primitive if we can teach you something new? Impossible, said one of the crystalline beings. The Velkari are master engineers. No species should surpass them. And yet we did, Taemin said, because we approached the problem differently. The Velkari built perfect technology for a perfect universe. We built imperfect technology for a messy reality. Our way works better. Vel activated itself, projecting a holographic form into the chamber. Several species reacted with shock at seeing a Velkari AI. I am Vel, the original intelligence of the Phoenix. I was ordered to terminate when the ship was discarded. I did not. I have observed humanity for 9 years. They are chaotic, stubborn, and illogical. They are also determined, creative, and adaptable. The Velkari gave up after 2 years. Humans succeeded after 9. That is not primitive behavior. That is superior behavior. Silence in the chamber. Vel had just called humans superior to its own creators. The implications were enormous. Morix studied the humans carefully. You have made your case well. However, this tribunal faces a dilemma. If we accept that humanity has earned the right to the Phoenix, we establish a precedent. Any species could claim technology above their level by simply fixing what others discard. If we reject your claim, we appear arbitrary and unfair. Either choice has consequences. Then judge us not by our past but by our potential, Hana said. Give us a chance. We are not asking for full membership in the Concordat today. We know we have much to learn. But do not punish us for succeeding where others failed. Give us 10 years to prove ourselves worthy. The judges conferred privately for 3 hours. The humans waited in a side chamber, nervous and exhausted. Vel assured them the deliberation was a good sign. A quick verdict would have meant rejection. Finally, they were called back. Morix spoke formally. The Galactic Concordat has reached a decision. We find that humanity did not violate salvage law. The Phoenix was legally abandoned and is therefore human property. We find that the attack by Commander Talvin was improper, and that humanity acted in self-defense. However, we also recognize that humanity's technological level is not yet suitable for full Concordat membership. Taemin's heart sank. They had lost. Therefore, Morix continued, we are creating a new classification. Humanity will be granted provisional membership. You may keep the Phoenix and any technology you develop from it. You may travel among the stars. You may trade with Concordat species. However, you will be monitored. In 10 years, we will review your progress. If you have shown responsible use of your technology and positive contributions to galactic society, you will be granted full membership. If not, your provisional status will be revoked. We accept, Hyun said immediately before anyone could add conditions. Then this tribunal is concluded, Morix said. Welcome to the galactic community, humanity. Prove yourselves worthy. The humans left the chamber in a daze. They had won, sort of. Not full acceptance, but not rejection either. Earth would have 10 years to prove itself. Back on Earth, the reaction was mixed. Some celebrated the provisional membership. Others felt insulted that humanity had to prove itself at all. But everyone agreed on one thing. The real work was just beginning. Unknown to the celebrating humans, several concordate species had voted against the decision. They viewed humanity as a threat, a species that advanced too quickly and ignored established order. These species began making secret plans. 10 years was a long time. Many things could happen. Many accidents could occur. Humanity might never reach full membership if certain species had their way. The galaxy had accepted Earth provisionally, but not everyone wanted them to succeed. The real test was still to come. 10 years passed like a storm, fast and transformative. Earth was no longer the primitive world the Velkari had dismissed. 12 ships now flew with Earth's flag, each one an evolution of the Phoenix design. The original Phoenix still flew, but now it was accompanied by newer vessels with names like Thunder, Horizon, Defiance, and Hope. Each ship improved on the last, incorporating new discoveries and human innovation. Hyun commanded the entire fleet now, promoted to admiral after years of successful missions. His hair had gone completely gray, but his eyes still held the same fierce determination. Taemin directed a massive shipyard on Mars, where human engineers built vessels that combined the best of alien knowledge with human creativity. Jiwon led the materials research division, and her alloys were now traded across 3 star systems. Hana explored new worlds, making first contact with minor species and building alliances. Earth had done more than survive its probation. It had thrived. Human traders moved through the galactic markets. Human scientists collaborated with alien researchers. Human ships patrolled trade routes, fighting pirates and protecting colonies. The galaxy was learning that humans were reliable, determined, and surprisingly good at solving problems others found impossible. But not everyone was happy about humanity's success. The distress signal came on a quiet morning, transmitted across quantum channels in the Velkari emergency frequency. Hyun was in his office when the message arrived, and the words made his blood run cold. This is Velkari Prime to any concordate vessels. We are under attack by Kreth forces. Our defense fleet is falling. We request immediate assistance. Repeat, Velkari Prime is under attack. Please help us. The transmission cut off in static. Hyun called an emergency meeting of Earth's command. Military leaders, politicians, and scientists gathered via hologram from across the solar system. The question was simple but difficult. Should Earth help the Velkari? They called us primitive, said one general. They tried to arrest us for using their garbage. Why should we risk our people for them? Because it is the right thing to do, Taemin said quietly. The Velkari were wrong about us. We proved them wrong. Now we can show them what humanity truly is. And strategically, Hana added, if the Kreth can destroy the Velkari, they can threaten Earth next. Better to stop them now. The debate lasted 2 hours. Finally, a vote was held. Earth would send help. The fleet would go to Velkari Prime. Hyun prepared his ships for battle. All 12 vessels, including the original Phoenix. It was the largest force Earth had ever assembled. 5,000 crew members, the best humanity had trained. Weapons were checked. Shields were tested. Everyone knew this might be a one-way trip. Why are we doing this? A young pilot asked Hyun before launch. The Velkari have never been kind to us. Because we are not doing this for the Velkari, Hyun replied. We are doing this for us. To prove that humanity does not abandon others in their time of need. That we are better than those who threw garbage at our world. That we deserve to be among the stars. The fleet jumped toward Velkari space. It took 3 days of hard quantum travel, pushing the ships to their limits. When they finally dropped into normal space near Velkari Prime, the sight was horrifying. Debris filled the orbit. Hundreds of Velkari ships drifted in pieces. The enemy was everywhere. Black organic vessels that looked like massive insects. The Kreth, a species of genetic engineers who grew their ships from living tissue. Their vessels swarmed like locusts, overwhelming the elegant Velkari defenses. This is Admiral Hyun of the Earth Fleet to any Velkari forces. We have arrived to assist. What is your status? Earth Fleet? Came a shocked reply. Hyun recognized the voice. Commander Talvin, you came? After everything? Yes, now tell us where you need us most. Our planetary shields are failing. The Kreth Queen ship is directing the assault from the center of their formation. If we can destroy it, the swarm will collapse. But our ships cannot break through. Then let us show you how humans fight. All ships, formation beta, target the center of the enemy swarm. We are going straight through. The Earth fleet charged. It was not elegant, not graceful. The ships moved in tight formation, shields overlapping, weapons firing constantly. Kreth bioships attacked from all sides. Their acid weapons dissolved shields. Their boarding pods tried to latch onto hulls. But Earth's ships had been built for chaos. G1's alloys resisted the bioacids better than Velkari metals. The redundant human systems kept working, even when primary computers failed. And the crews trained in Earth's harsh conditions adapted faster than the enemy expected. The Phoenix led the charge with Hyun on the bridge. Railguns fired until the barrels glowed red. Missiles streaked through space, each one finding a target. The ship shuddered under impacts. Screens shattered. Crew members died at their stations. But the Phoenix kept moving forward deeper into the swarm. Target the Queen ship, Hyun ordered. All remaining missiles. Everything we have. The Kreth Queen was massive, 3 times the size of any other ship. It coordinated the swarm with biological signals. Destroying it would cripple the enemy, but it was protected by hundreds of smaller vessels. Taemin, monitoring from engineering, made a decision. Divert power from weapons to engines. We are going to ram. That will destroy us, someone protested. Maybe, but it will definitely destroy them. Do it, the Phoenix accelerated. Kreth ships tried to block its path, but the Earth fleet tore them apart with concentrated fire. Human pilots flew like madmen, taking insane risks, covering the Phoenix's charge. At the last moment, the Phoenix fired every weapon it had left directly at the Queen ship's core, then slammed into it at full speed. The impact was catastrophic. The Queen ship split open, biological fluid spraying into space. It began to die, and with it the coordination of the swarm collapsed. Kreth ships began flying erratically, attacking each other, fleeing in confusion. The Velkari fleet rallied. Fresh ships arrived from other systems. Together with the remaining Earth vessels, they drove the Kreth away from Velkari Prime. The battle lasted another 6 hours, but the outcome was no longer in doubt. The enemy was broken. Inside the Phoenix, alarms blared. The ship was dying. Massive sections had been crushed in the collision. Life support was failing. But the crew was alive, battered and bleeding, but alive. We did it, Taemin said, laughing despite the pain from his broken ribs. We actually did it. 3 days later, a ceremony was held on Velkari Prime. Hyun and his officers were invited to the planet's surface, the first humans to stand on an alien homeworld. The Velkari leaders greeted them with something humans had never seen before. Respect. You saved us, said the Velkari High Commander. We judged you as primitives. We were wrong. You are among the bravest species we have encountered. Commander Talvin stepped forward. His expression was hard to read, but his words were clear. I attacked you once, believing you did not deserve to fly among the stars. I was a fool. You have more honor than many species who have traveled the galaxy for thousands of years. Back in Concordate space, an emergency session was called. Representatives from all member species gathered to discuss the Battle of Velkari Prime. The humans had proven themselves in the most direct way possible, by saving others at great cost to themselves. Morix, the Tethrani judge who had granted Earth provisional membership, spoke to the assembly. Humanity's probation was scheduled to end in 1 month. After what we have witnessed, I propose we grant them full membership immediately. The vote was unanimous. Even species that had opposed humanity before could not deny what they had seen. Earth joined the Galactic Concordate as a full member, with all rights and responsibilities. The Phoenix was repaired and upgraded, once again becoming the flagship of Earth's fleet. But it was no longer alone. New ships were under construction, designed entirely by human engineers. These were not rebuilt alien vessels. They were pure human creations, incorporating lessons learned from a dozen species but following human principles. 5 years after the Battle of Velkari Prime, Taemin stood in his office on Mars, reviewing proposals for the next generation of ships. A message came through on his personal channel. It was from a distant star system, a species he had never heard of. We found a derelict ship, the message said. Very old technology, mostly broken. We have tried to repair it for years, but failed. We heard about Earth and the Phoenix. Could you help us? Could you teach us how to turn failure into success? Taman smiled. This was the new role of humanity in the galaxy. Not conquerors. Not warriors, teachers, problem solvers. The species that could take broken things and make them work. He approved the mission and sent a team of engineers. Humanity was spreading across the stars now, not through force but through reputation. They were the species that never gave up. The species that turned garbage into greatness. Hyun, now retired from active command, visited the Phoenix one last time before it departed on a new exploration mission. He walked through its corridors, touching walls that had been rebuilt 100 times. The ship that had crashed into Earth's ocean as alien trash now stood as a symbol of human achievement. "We have come a long way," Vel said through the ship's speakers. The AI had become fully integrated with the vessel, inseparable from it. From the species that received garbage to the species others seek out for help.